Welcome to the New Economy. What's next? My guest today is Mr. Peter Bridgewater, the CEO of Open Systems Technologies Bahamas, and we're going to talk today about technology and digitizing your business and exactly how to do that. So stay tuned. If you are a business person that is looking to grow your business in the new economy, this show is for you. My name is D.R.C. Raming Jr. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Arawak X, a financial services firm. I'm a serial entrepreneur, futurist, and technologist. I studied robotics and after university chose to build my international business from the Bahamas. With all that is going on in the world, one thing is certain. The businesses that will survive and thrive have to evolve or die. This show will answer the question, what's next for us? What's next for the new economy? Join us on the new economy. What's next? With the right business technology tools, a small company can compete with a Fortune 500. Imagine making your current workforce 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more productive. New technology can be scary. It disrupts processes and industries and changes them in entirely new ways. But with change and disruption comes increased efficiencies of many times. As a business or organization, that means competing with the big boys. A better way of looking at technology is like an engineer does, not as something to be feared, but as a tool to be used. Engineers look at technology in four main ways. There is development, implementation, practical use, and maintenance. Each requires a different type of skill and a different kind of technical background. For most businesses, when you are thinking about accessing these productivity tools, you should concentrate on a solution, an implementation, and practical use and maintenance of that solution. Experts in these fields have specialized knowledge that is expensive to learn in terms of money, time, and years of licks from experience. Experience matters, as technology mistakes are really expensive. When we interview engineers and technologists, keep in mind what practical problem it is that they are trying to find a solution for. As entrepreneurs, business leaders, and policymakers, understand that the tool is only as good as the craftsman. Mr. Bridgewater, welcome to the show. Can you tell us a little bit about Open Systems Technology?
Yes, Darcy. Thank you for the opportunity to be on the new economy, and it's a pleasure to be here today. A little bit about Open Systems. It's a technology company that I started after working in the financial sector for about 24 years. And 20 years ago, I started this business focusing on business continuity planning. However, the interests 20 years ago in terms of the interest in business continuity planning in the Bahamas was very low. And so I then focused on document management, something that I'd seen during my travels in Europe. And I said that managing business processes and digitizing documents for organizations and companies seems to be the in thing.
Yeah, and you've been at this for now almost 20 years, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, this year in November will make 19 years for us, and next year will be 20 years providing these types of solutions here in the Bahamas, as well as we did one of our first installations for a company in Canada, and that is what got the ball rolling first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so for people that don't understand, document management is where you digitize paperwork as well as the workflows so that all of these papers that you see on people's desks disappear and go into the cloud, correct?
That is that is correct. And so what it is a process that scans, captures information, paper or electronic information like your PDF files, and then it stores them into a database. In other words, archiving them there for you for a specified retention period. You then have access to those documents by authorized persons only who are able to access those documents based on the security needs that they have. They could amend the metadata information in the documents. If they have read only, then they could only access those documents to use those documents in their environment. And one of the best qualities or the main factors for document management or implementing a document management system is the security and the access of the documents. And so persons are only able to access documents that they are specifically assigned to access.
Yes.
They will not get any access to any documents that they're not assigned to.
Yeah, and this is especially important in when you're dealing with financial data or like private information such as medical records, things of that nature. Correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, anything that is confidential, all right, and it has a particular uh, confidentiality status to that document, then that document can be flagged as a confidential document, and only the specific persons or the authorized persons will have access to that document. And so medical records uh, are included as well, which is a very high risk document.
And Miss Bridgewater, how did you get into this business? I know you briefly talked about you were in financial services, and then you transitioned. Can you give people a little bit about your background?
Well, like you indicated, I started in financial services uh, as a bank teller. Learned all of the different departments in the commercial bank, and then I moved on to one of the offshore banks, uh, Credit Suisse, and I was they termed it back then head of EDP, Electronic Data Processing Department, and subsequently I was also deputy operations manager. And this gave me an opportunity to travel as well as to learn all the various aspects of working in the financial sector and in information technology. And from there, then I went on to Lloyd's TSB Banking and Trust. And there I worked as vice president for information technology. I was also had the responsibility for some projects that impacted the Americas, that is the US, Latin America, and the Bahamas. And so I travel between those jurisdictions to oversee projects as well as in Europe, Zurich, and in London. And so that gave me uh, good insight in terms of how technology was being used in the financial sector. And in addition to that, I was also the Swift user group chairperson in the Bahamas for about 10 years, seeing the introduction of Swift tool and training for uh, persons working in the financial sector in the area of Swift management.
Yeah, and that's a lot of different seeing the organization from a lot of different points of view. Would you say that how would you say that has helped with your implementation, especially considering people don't understand that technology is not only when people think of technology, they think of like a computer sitting on the desk. They don't understand that it's different parts. There's development, there's the implementation, there's the ongoing use of the technology, and then there's the maintenance. So could you talk a little bit about how you're seeing the whole value chain has led into you being able to really help your customers?
Well, that has definitely given me the ability to uh, utilize the experience that I had in the financial sector, in information technology. As a matter of fact, for about 13 years, I was writing programs actually from scratch in the financial sector at one of those banks, at Credit Suisse, and I actually wrote all of the banking applications, the general ledger, the forex, the securities applications. So back in the day, we had to write these things, and so we had to write lines and thousands of lines of code for that. And so that helped me to use that knowledge in enabling my company and myself to be able to implement enterprise document management solutions. Because firstly, what it did was I was able to understand exactly what some of the processes were when I
Mm-hmm.
dealt with businesses in the financial sector. And then my programming ability in terms of uh, uh, analysis, uh, determining what the customer needs are based on what their pain points are, was to be able to take that and then transfer that experience that I gained into being able to configure and set up the enterprise content management system for specific organizations.
Mm-hmm. And why don't you walk us through like say I'm a small insurance broker and I have all this paperwork. How would you digitize my business? We'll be right back after a short message from our sponsor. At Arawak X, we understand that for businesses to grow, they need capital to hire staff, buy equipment, and fuel innovative ideas. We support this process by using technology, years of business acumen, and a world-class team to get business the investment they need to get to the next level. If you are a business owner and need between $100,000 and $3 million, contact us today. We will schedule a meeting over the phone or video chat. Get on the path to your dreams. Arawak X. Dream bigger.
Documents are part of every essential business process. That's why it is important that they keep moving forward. Documents can be forwarded to the wrong person, left behind on someone's desk, or in the worst case scenario, they're completely forgotten. So it can take an eternity for an invoice to be approved, for example. This causes aggravation and costs time and money. DocuWare takes your documents straight to the finish line electronically, without detours. All documents are always exactly where they are needed. Employees are immediately notified if they have to process a document. And what previously took an eternity is now almost incidental.
I've been blessed to grow up in a business family. The most important thing I've learned from them was to listen to experts' stories, learn from their successes, try to avoid their mistakes, and copy best practices. In the New Economy TV show, we are bringing innovative experts that are growth focused. This show is for entrepreneurs, business leaders, and policymakers. Join me and my guests every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. on our TV. The New Economy. What's next? Mm-hmm. And why don't you walk us through like say I'm a small insurance broker and I have all this paperwork. How would you digitize my business?
Well, one of the first things that we do is on meeting the customer, we try to understand what are the problems and the issues that they want to resolve. Okay. And then we do an analysis of a walk through the organization in those specific departments that where they are experiencing some issues or where they want to improve the productivity or the efficiency in the area to improve the customer experience. And so once we do this analysis, we then present to them a proof of concept in terms of looking at the business processes and based on what we see, how it could improve the productivity and the efficiency in that area. Once we've prepared and demoed the proof of concept, which is an actual a review of what we've seen in the organization or the business, we then move to the next steps, make a proposal to the customer. And once that signs off, we then kick off a project meeting to be able to bring all of the different stakeholders in the organization, management, human resources, supervisors in the different area to introduce them to the kickoff meeting and the processes that we will embark on, or the journey that we'll embark on in terms of uh, not changing the organization. It is a culture change, really, but in terms of working with them hand in hand on how the whole organization and each user will benefit from carrying out their various tasks and using the document management or the enterprise content management system in their daily activities.
Yeah, and people don't understand that this is just a tool to make their lives easier.
That's correct, and sometimes when implementing the solution, there's some feedback, sometimes negative. Oh, we don't want to implement the system. This is going to cost jobs. Uh, and persons become very, very concerned in terms of technology. And this is something you see anytime you're implementing technology, and especially when you're implementing document management, because persons first begin to think about their job security. But what we've advised businesses and those users and stakeholders in those meetings is what it will enable you to do, as opposed to spending the majority or 80% of your time searching for information to provide to the customer. You now can able to access that information very quickly within seconds to improve or enhance the customer's experience. And subsequent to that, also, what it does also enables the business or the organization to do is to, what we've seen is there's a job experience rotation for users into different areas to learn other aspects of the organization. And that also enhances the ability of the document management system or enterprise content management system in the business. And that helps to improve the productivity.
Yeah, and also the another added benefit is people can work remotely.
Most definitely, that is an automatic benefit that we like to tell our customers. And I mean, we've seen that from the pandemic, COVID-19.
Yeah.
Many businesses went to remote working. Some didn't even have laptops or PCs, which probably meant that they didn't test their business continuity to that extent in terms of ensuring that various executives and departments had access in their contingency plan. And so what document management does is remotely, you have access to those files that are back in office. And during the times we received during the pandemic a number of calls inquiring about document management, because here it is, they had technology to work remotely, but they couldn't access their files because their files were in the file room. So decisions, could you just imagine, there's probably a lot of information to file since COVID-19. There's a lot of decisions that couldn't be made because the organization couldn't readily access that information.
Yeah, and in full disclosure to people at home, Mr. Bridgewater and Open Systems Technology as part of the reason why we were able to continue working throughout this crisis. So it's this man knows what he's doing, and he brings all of his years of experience to bear to set you up. Mr. Bridgewater, we're shifting gears a little bit. Where do you see the future of technology going in relation to business?
Well, if we pivot after COVID-19 and now moving to hurricanes, which just started this month, the hurricane season, businesses need to become more resilient by using technology to improve their ability to survive. That's key and important. And as I say to a number of young entrepreneurs, is that at one of the same conferences that we had at the University of the Bahamas, is that invest in technology, okay? The money that based on your passion and the product that you're marketing, that will come, okay? But the foundation for your business should be to create a good foundation using technology so that in the event of a crisis, you are still able to function, and at least it gives you uh, that freedom of mind to be able to really focus on that product that you are marketing or selling. That customer experience is very important. The customer doesn't want to hear that, oh, you had a system problem, oh, we couldn't access this, and oh, we couldn't do that. They don't want they don't want to hear that. They want to know that you are a company that is providing a high level of service to them.
I can't stress enough again because a lot of people are really afraid of technology because it's new, it seems complicated, but with the right training and the right exposure to it, it just becomes a tool like everything else. We'll be right back after a short message from our sponsor. Think direct ownership of the Bahamian pie isn't for you? Think again. At Arawak X, we believe in the ingenuity of the Bahamian people. These times are uncertain and unprecedented, but we know that in every crisis there is an opportunity to add value to people's lives. To this, we understand that new businesses will be formed and old ideas whose time has finally come will be realized. We see this in industries long been ignored by traditional financial services and by society at large, particularly in our digital businesses, agribusiness, fishing, manufacturing, and even new touristic ventures. Due to our present circumstances, these businesses have finally been brought to the forefront. Arawak X seeks to give your ideas and your participation a means of making your financial dreams a reality. We give businesses and investors tools needed to finance them. Business is a complicated thing, with many moving and changing parts that often require multidisciplinary teams to turn ideas into reality. While no one can truly say which businesses will make it and thrive and which will not, there are certain formulaic traits that successful businesses have. This is why we here at Arawak X place such a high emphasis on corporate governance and the structure it brings to give companies the best chance at growth and expansion. Arawak X operates a regulated and financially inclusive platform that combines modern technology with best practices and a world-class team to bring together businesses and investors at every level, allowing wider participation in ownership of companies. So here's how it works. Investors, both foreign and local, individual and institutional, can view offerings and directly invest into these companies. We have spent several years and invested greatly in our staff and technology processes. We are doing this by greatly expanding the ease of investment. In other words, people will be able to participate in promising new ventures for as little as $50. The ethos of our institution is that of financial inclusion. And in this spirit, we ourselves will be a publicly traded company. In these next few months, as we roll out our platform, know that we view ourselves as an integral part of a wider societal change, the change that brings ownership, opportunity to everyone. We are pleased to work with our partners in industry, government, civil society, and the people in making the Bahamas the best little nation on this planet. As a first step, we have put together a free online course, the Intelligent Bahamian Investor Masterclass, that will give you some of the basics to investing. This can be found at invest242.com. Arawak X, dream bigger.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I want to commend yourself and on the new economy in terms of providing this information to uh, the general public as well as to persons considering going into business as well as those in business in terms of how our X is in their planning stages for various organizations that are interested in working with our X, how technology is one of the key components that our X would bring to these business entities in terms of how technology will improve that passion and that and give them the time to market that product that they want to bring to market or they haven't marketed, have to market.
Yeah, and it's
at the end of the day, we're
at
all
the end of the day, we're all in
the
support
business
of
person
the
and the
business person
entrepreneur
and
and
the
their
entrepreneur
dreams.
and
So
their
it's
dreams. So it is people got to learn to use the people that are around. Speaking of using the people that are around, why don't you talk about the importance of having boots on the ground? Because a lot of people, when they see technology, they think, oh, I need to go get some technology out of India, or a programmer out of the Philippines, or this one out of the, I don't know, insert country here. Why is it important to have your experts local?
Well, that is a good point that you've raised, and and Open Systems is a value-added reseller for a number of different technology providers. Because what we have looked at is how to provide a solution that will enable an end-to-end uh, um, problem solving tools for businesses, from from the document management or from the password management all the way to backup and recovery, and how to recover your business not in 10 hours or 12 hours but within 5 to 10 minutes, because the quicker that you can get back up and running in recovery, it's important for your business. And so that's our achievement, that is our goal.
Yeah, and for people that don't understand why they're called VARs in the tech space, the value added reseller, is that you can kind of think of them like if you've ever had some shelves built or some woodwork done around your house or home or business. The tool is like the power tool. You know, it would be ridiculous for you to have to fly in a carpenter from India to fix to put up some shelves in your house. You would find that ridiculous. And likewise, it's important if you're considering using these tools or these things or like a plumber. It's better to think of it like a plumber. When your pipe breaks or your system is overflowing, you don't want to call a guy in from India, because that's going to take 3 days, 4 days, cost you a bunch of money. When the guy, the local value-added reseller, can fix a job, understands your story, cares about you, cares about your business, and can deliver better service.
And just to add to that, uh, what being a value-added reseller for the various products and technologies that Open Systems Technologies provide, we have to maintain certification, all right? And so that is so important for boots on the ground. Sometimes maybe there may be some persons think that, well, okay, it's a Bahamian company and their users are not trained. Every product that Open Systems markets, we have to get certification. Okay, our enterprise content management solution, we have to undergo annual certification. And for the past 18 years, being the provider of one of those solutions, we've had to attend various conferences and training certifications to be able to maintain our ability or opportunity to market the solution here in the Bahamas.
So how can people get in contact with you, Mr. Bridgewater?
Well, our telephone numbers are 328-6736, 603-6736, and we are also on the web, www.opensystems-bs.com. All right, and they can email us, info@opensystems-bs.com, and we'd be happy to meet with them and discuss how enterprise content management or any of the solutions can benefit their organizations.
Do you have any last words for any aspiring entrepreneurs out there considering technology?
Things that I'd like to say is never give up. All right, never give up. Always pursue that dream that you have in terms of whatever aspect in business that you want to do. And there are going to be some hard times. There's going to be some difficult times, and there's going to be times with no money. But never give up. All right, you continue that in-depth focus on whatever your dreams and passion are in terms of moving your business forward.
That was Mr. Peter Bridgewater from Open Systems Technologies, and we'll see you next time.